don't have much reserve time. I guess the changes to reserve time, they weren't reflected in the penalties, which is kind of strange. You would think that they would have done that, but either way, I'm Mike Loris, going to be your caster for today, and yeah, EnemyGG going to be in a little bit of trouble already. Like not having reserve time is a pretty big deal since the I guess the 0.87 patch made it reserve time was more time than the other initial ban and pick phases. So it's going to be EnemyGG speed drafting and Team Freedom. They had to wait for quite a long time. It was literally a minute away from being a def win, at least for game one, which is pretty inconvenient for everyone, really. Like, we have things to do, man. We don't have time to sit here for 30 minutes and do nothing. We're here right now, and that's what matters. And we'll see what this draft is going to bring. American region, always different. Very interesting to watch, to say the least. There are going to be pretty much, for the most part, meta picks, I would say. Following the trend is typically the North American scene is a little bit more faithful to the quote-unquote meta game, as opposed to some other regions which typically like to do their own thing. North America remains pretty faithful to it. As you can see right now, like, this is a Mirana ban, first ban, which is seeing a lot more play nowadays. I'm still not completely convinced at her power in a first pick or first ban slot. But I do think that if you give her a decent time, then she will just get completely out of control. And the really big thing about that Mirana is that not only is she individually powerful and able to assassinate those softer heroes, your like Lions and Disruptors, which is a very easy combo, but she also provides a lot of just overall map pressure, which is something that other assassins don't really do. Nature's Prophet, I suppose you can say, does that, but for the most part, Mirana's going to be jumping around and getting kills, and at the same time pushing out creep waves, which restricts space, which means that you're going to become further and further behind because you're losing heroes and you're losing space to farm up the map, which is always going to be an absolute nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, got life to their first pick, and then okay. Well, this is going to be a pretty interesting game, to say the least. Now, Bounty Hunter first pick is whatever, right? Like, you're going to have a Bounty Hunter there. No one's really going to bat an eye. Lifestealer first pick for the Team Freedom side, and then immediately EnemyGG with the Bounty Hunter and a Abaddon. So, as far as these two heroes are concerned, Lifestealer and Abaddon, they don't really do fantastically as far as direct countering one another. It is very difficult for Lifestealer to get kills when the enemy team has an Abaddon on the other end, just because Shield is such a nightmare to deal with. Like, Open Wounds is not even a great spell to begin with, and now you're going to just have it purged off, which always kind of sucks. So it is going to be a nice defensive hero for the EnemyGG side, but picking an Abaddon second pick when 9 times out of 10 you can get him last pick if you want to, does signify that they have some sort of plan here, or they misclicked. You know, is, I guess, a possibility. But yeah, we'll see what this Abaddon is actually going to accomplish right now. I feel like this hero is not exactly the hero that you want in order to deal with a Lifestealer. As far as lane pressure is concerned, Abaddon doesn't really do it the best. He's not ranged for one thing. You're picking him up with another melee hero. Surviving a lane is definitely something that he can do. With Team Freedom's opening of Lifestealer, now Alchemist, it seems like they are supposed to have a pretty slow start. So this is something that is not really getting punished by this Abaddon pick a ton. Alchemist Lifestealer, as far as early levels are concerned, they don't really do anything until not really a level mark, really. I guess level 6 for Lifestealer, you get to play with your Infest a little bit. For the most part, it's going to be Team Freedom now wanting a little bit of space, and that's really where the problem comes in here for Team Freedom's draft. Alchemist is a hero that is going to need space. Lifestealer isn't exactly a hero that could get him a lot of space. Sometimes when you're running around with your level 6, yeah, it is going to get a little bit distracting for the enemies, and maybe if you could stall out there, then you're going to be in for good times. That's not really guaranteed. It's not really like a Puck Queen of Pain type style where you're actually bouncing around getting kills, or an Earth Spear where you're just applying a lot of pressure early on. I guess similar to a Bounty Hunter or a Night Stalker. The opening for both these sides is pretty darn interesting. The Ancient Apparition ban for sure is value for both teams, honestly. Playing a Abaddon up against Ancient Apparition is actually pretty miserable. It's not fun. I want to see EnemyGG try to up the pressure with their draft a little bit. Bounty Hunter is definitely a good start. Getting a Bounty Hunter start up against an Alchemist is fine. You just need someone else to really lay into the Alchemist once the Bounty Hunter actually makes his rotation in. Someone who's not really going to be bothered a ton by the Acid Spray. Death Prophet, Queen of Pain, probably two of the bigger ones. Queen of Pain definitely a lot better versus the Lifestealer on as a side note. So that might be what EnemyGG are trying to angle towards. Again, playing this kind of all-in, super aggressive playstyle because you have an Abaddon on your squad should be something that EnemyGG want to do just in a vacuum with their own draft, not even looking at the enemy team's draft. You honestly can't really punish that type of play all that much. Alchemist maybe can try to bait people in, but for EnemyGG, I just want to see a really big run at you type of draft. Forcing Team Freedom to maybe fight with this Alchemist, fight over stacks in the jungle. Really fight over every single objective. Make the Alchemist work for his farm, because if you don't make him work for it, you're probably going to lose.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Either way, EnemyGG gonna not have hands on Slark. Actually, the Lich and Skywrath banned out. Pretty interesting to see these two heroes, and the Silence is definitely really good versus the Abaddon. Of course, working together with the Alchemist Lifestealer, Skywrath, doesn't really do it that great. Now EnemyGG are going to pick up a Dragon Knight. I think this hero needs to see a lot more play. And this is a hero that has an okay time versus the Alchemist. You're not going to be dominating him by any means. Acid Spray is physical, it's worth noting, and is therefore reduced by Dragon's Blood. For the most part, EnemyGG are starting to assemble this kind of run-at-you draft. They have the sustain coming from the Abaddon. They have a little bit of tower damage coming up from this Dragon Knight. What they're lacking right now is just enough kill power. Once the Lifestealer pops his Rage, EnemyGG pretty much have no answers to that. No significant high single-target DPS. And I guess to a lesser extent, Alchemist is the same thing as well. You're not going to easily kill him as EnemyGG unless you grab some sort of high-damage safe lane hero. Or secondary port, I suppose. I'm assuming Abaddon's going to go, Abaddon's going to go towards the off lane, see what he can get there. Of course, with the Disruptor, pick is going to come into play. Kind of difficult to play in Abaddon since Aphotic Shield, Runaway is not really the best escape tool versus Glimpse and Kinetic Field. But it should still be a decent enough lane for the Abaddon to stick around, and hell, even if it's not that great, you can jungle pretty decently as the Abaddon. Not really going to be like Beastmaster level jungle, but it's still rather effective in a pinch. EnemyGG, they have the Dragon, now they're going to grab the Vengeful Spirit. As far as supports are concerned, Venge, Bounty Hunter, very aggressively slanted, whereas Team Freedom, again, that's a little bit of a slower, grindy game for them. I really want to see how they're actually going to get space for this Alchemist. Level 6 Lifestealer, as I mentioned before, is really all they have at the moment, and it's not looking like it's going to get much better with this Disruptor pick. There are 3 melee heroes on the other end. I guess Dragon Knight is half melee. Disruptor's value in the mid game is going to be nice. Same thing as Alchemist Acid Spray, just pushing back EnemyGG's push. Where's the payoff here? Slardar is the pick, but I'm not sure if that's the payoff. The hero is fine, but he again needs a little bit of time if you're going to have a really good game as Slardar. Setting up an offensive lane as Slardar is difficult, especially when you have Disruptor as one of your heroes there. You really do need a Vengeful Spirit and a Roamer, Night Stalker type if you're going to really have success in that type of lane. Or a Lion or a Witch Doctor or something like that. Disruptor doesn't really do a lot of damage, so I like the Undying ban in that regard. Would have enabled Team Freedom to actually play aggressively, but as it stands right now, they have pretty much no early game. Their game isn't actually going to start until level 6 on the Lifestealer. Crawling beforehand is not really going to work out well for them. So I'm liking enemies draft just a little bit more at this moment. Still waiting to see what Team Freedom's final payoff hero is going to be, but I'm thinking at this point it's probably just going to be another supporty type hero. They're really going to try to bring the heat, try to Spirit Breaker the enemy out or something along those lines. Undying would have let them play this very aggressively early on. Really get around the weakness of Slaughter, Alchemist, Lifestealer needing levels and farm, because Undying is just so disgustingly great in the early game. Seconds to make this pick, Team Freedom. What's it gonna be?
Earth Spirit.
Earth Spirit, okay, there we go. I mean, I did say that it was still in the pool. It's kind of rare to see Earth Spirit still in the pool, and this is going to be a, obviously that pressure roamer, similar to the Bounty Hunter playstyle of the EnemyGG squad. The problem here is that it's the 4th melee hero for Team Freedom, and even though Earth Spirit will enable some skirmishing early on, you are rolling into an Abaddon, and if you're not going to silence him, you're not going to have a great time as the Earth Spirit. You're rolling into heroes that are difficult to kill. even if you do land the roll on like a Dragon Knight, Earth Spirit doesn't do a lot of damage. He really relies on his allies to do the damage afterwards. Talking about like level 1 through 3. Dragon Knight gets a single point Dragon's Blood. He's not going to go down easy. And this is... Oh, hello. Okay, so Team Freedom, they now have to go up against a Terrorblade. Is actually... I mean, he's a good late-game hero for sure, and I think that's what the first thing that everyone thinks of when they see Terrorblade is like, oh, he's a ratting kind of late-game hero. But early on, if you just have Metamorphosis and you use it, very similar to how you use a Dragon Knight's ultimate, you can tear down towers like nobody's business. And if you look at Team Freedom, how are they actually supposed to get on top of a Terrorblade and pressure him out? Their damage is almost exclusively physical damage. Disruptor has some magic, Earth Spirit as well. That's about it. So Terrorblade's low HP, high armor is actually very well positioned to deal with Team Freedom right now. It is this game mostly up to Team Freedom's lanes. They have to get so much success out of this early phase. They need this Earth Spirit to get a handful of kills. If they don't, then I don't see them being able to fight. If they do, they may be able to stall out the game a little bit. There we go. They may be able to stall out the game just a little bit with the Acid Spray and just being so difficult to push into with the Acid Spray, the Earth Spirit, of course, Static Storm as well. I have no idea what they're talking about, by the way. Yeah, we've been having some difficulties with NMEGG trying to get in this game. I mean, I do like the NMEGG draft quite a lot. Team Freedom, they're going to need their Blink Daggers. They're going to need to play this game aggressively. And also, we're going to have to play this game, as this is only game 1 in the best of 2. 2-game series if you prefer, but I like best of 2, as that just makes sense to me. But yeah, admin sleeping. I am not an admin, by the way. Not my job. So for the Team Freedom squad, as far as offlane is concerned, it does look like the Slaughter is going to take that role. Somebody usually is going to play that carry, so let's clear the air there, and Alchemist towards that mid lane. You probably could maybe switch up these heroes if you really wanted to. I don't really see any reason to do that. Lifestealer in the safe lane, going up against like any NMEGG heroes is, I don't really think, going to be doing a lot. Maybe they'll just find someone who's always careless and always out of position. You never know, man. You never know. Yeah, but NMEGG is... They have picked up the Terrorblade in the past. One of the few teams to actually get him, and he was just recently buffed. Had like a slight illusion buff, so his illusions are slightly tankier or something like that. And what was the other thing? The Metamorphosis no longer makes his attack slower, which I actually didn't know happened in the first place, but I guess that's kind of nice. You get to attack really fast and really hard. Yeah, it seems like for the NMEGG side, it's probably just going to be DK going towards mid, Terrorblade, maybe doing that top thing. This Terrorblade in the top lane is rather hard to dislodge as a Slaughter. He has to be careful as well, Slaughter. Just like, it's reflected, I guess you can say, and then just magic missile and then right clicks. That's a lot of damage. And Slaughter's pretty tanky, so he's not going to die all the time, but it is going to be a lot of poking and prodding that he's going to have to deal with. As far as stopping the Terrorblade's farm, that's almost completely out of the picture right now. So yeah, this game is the slowest game of all time, which is always so fun. Interested to see how this Abaddon is actually going to work out. As far as sustain is concerned, there aren't really a ton of sustain heroes, healing-ish type heroes, supporty healy type heroes that go towards the offlane. Usually those are the more pressure tempo type heroes, your Bat Riders and I guess your Slaughters. enter occasionally, but they don't really give a lot of healing. It usually comes in through your supports. This adaptation, if the Abaddon gets any sort of space, any relatively okay amount of farm, enabling your supports to be exclusively aggressive is quite a lot of value. Initiation for EnemyGG is going to come from the DK, from the Vengeful Spirit, so you may need like a Shadowblade Blink Dagger on the Dragon Knight or something like that. You're really going to look to start those fights when the Freedom side are starting to build up those walls. But in the it's level 6 to level 10 phase, EnemyGG are going to be so incredibly strong once they use their transformation abilities. Just pop into a dragon, pop into that range form as a Terrorblade, and what the hell do you do as Team Freedom? They have to have like a Lifestealer Bomb, some sort of cute play there. But the Blink Dagger is not going to be up by then, or it really shouldn't be. I don't think Freedom have enough space creating heroes for this Alchemist. And Alchemist is okay at fighting early nowadays versus the right type of heroes. We see pretty much almost exclusively armlet builds or armlet first items for the Alchemist, armlet Radiance, into the pretty classic, man-style Octarine type farming build. So yeah, the armlet is still pretty good value, and the armor is going to be very nice up against EnemyGG. As far as sticking onto enemies, wandering in is going to be a problem for the Alchemist. Any initiation is going to be probably shielded off, and he's going to walk through reflection and stuns, and his targets are super high armor. I actually don't think if the armor gets any higher. Dragon Knight is the armor guy. Terrorblade has like 7 base armor or something like that at level 1. Might be slightly off, but it's something along those lines. Be higher than that? Is it higher than that? It might be higher. Either way, it doesn't bode well for Team Freedom, that's for sure. What does bode well is that EnemyGG aren't actually playing the game. And the admin might actually have to step in and say, like, guys, this is kind of BS here. How much armor does he have level 1? Yeah, level 1, 7. No, level 1, 10 armor. Yeah, that's fair. Are we supposed to kill him when all of your damage is physical? Like, take a quick look. This is magical, which makes no sense, but that's how it works. This guy's magical. This guy's magical. This guy is pure physical, since Slithering Crush, Amplified Damage, you need that synergy there. This guy's pure physical as well. I guess the minus armor is going to really tear apart like the Vengeful Spirit and the Bounty Hunter and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, they have really no way to bypass the Dragon's Blood, bypass the Terrorblade's natural tankiness, which is not exactly good times. Also worth noting that in that patch that buffed the Terrorblade, the Alchemist got nerfed in that his Manta-style illusions, I guess all of his illusions, Manta-style illusions, no longer have Grieval's Greed. The way it worked before is that their Grieval's Greed was independent of the original Alchemists. So, like, if your illusion killed a unit, or killed a whole bunch of units, it would start its own kind of counter of Grieval's Greed. And your main Alchemist will have his own counter, and if you have another illusion, then that illusion will have another counter as well. That doesn't work anymore, so they just, I guess, just have their ordinary creep farm, which may or may not swing the item selection. I still think maybe Manta Style is worth it for the Alchemist, but maybe Octarine isn't? I mean, the armlet buff, I mean, it's really hard to for me to sit here and theory craft by myself, but the armlet buff means that Manta Style is a lot better because your illusions are just a lot tankier. Being able to fan out and just grab more creep camps, perfectly fine for Naga Siren, and I think it is fine for Alchemist as well. Getting the Octarine is a lot of value health-wise, and I feel like most of the interaction there is with Manta Style. I may be wrong. Let me know what you guys think about Alchemist builds in the new patch. It was a very small patch as far as the amount of changes are concerned, but this one's actually pretty big as far as how the hero is going to be built up. I mean, the item is just that less attractive to actually go for. I don't actually know. I haven't seen any Alchemists play on the new patch. Haven't really been that many games around. Everyone's waiting for Epicenter, which is happening tomorrow, I want to say. 11 hours? That seems like it's actually tonight. End of morning. I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch it. Sorry, guys. Love the game, but I don't love it that much. I like Sleep just a little bit more. Wait, how about this exciting gameplay? Wait 29 minutes for EnemyGG to try to come in, and this time, like, I actually have to be talking, which sucks, right? Like, talking in this part, the whole talking bit, it's the worst thing ever. What do you guys think about the Lifestealer Earth Spirit combo? Roll in, you pop out, start killing things. This is pretty sick. It's not Storm Spirit, all of sick. Or even Puck. I think Puck is one of the best ones. Puck and Storm are like number 2 and number 1 respectively, in my opinion. But Earth Spirit, he can get in, I guess. Unless he likes to grab some Ancients though and wreak havoc. NMEGG don't really have any great answers to that. There are really no great answers to that in Dota. Or kill Lifestealer beforehand, or hope Lifestealer gets really dumb. Terrorblade nerf or buff in this patch? This patch is exclusively buffs for Terrorblade. Terrorblade, strong hero. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and say, Team Freedom, you guys are pretty cool for putting up with all this time. Literally 53 minutes away from starting time, and we have still not killed a thing in this game. Nothing has died at all. Nothing has been purchased. Some things oh, no, that hasn't been leveled. Nope. I think anything has been done by anyone. APM at 0. APM is probably the highest in this game. Oh, geez. Okay, so I'm not really sure what's happening right now, guys. But the pause is supposed to be 50 minutes, I think the guy said. I'll give him a week. What I'm going to do is save you guys the trouble of listening to me starting to bullshit. I'm going to cut back to the wait screen and put on just... Will I? I'm going to cut back to the wait screen, put on some music, and then we will actually start this game when it actually starts. That wasn't as long as I thought it would be, but here we go, guys. 6 minutes now past starting time. We're finally getting into a game. So yeah, hope everyone actually didn't have things to do today. But it's gonna be Team Freedom on the Radiant. They're gonna put Sunbi on the Life. So they're going towards bottom lane. Eagles on the Spirit of Earth. Jubei is on the Disruptor Sporting. Got Freedom's Flea.Loot Market on the Alchemist. Up towards top lane, IX Mike on the Slaughter. On the other side, NMEGG. Oh shit, admin laying down the hammer. We got Lundan on the Bounty Hunter already starting to scout out. Sovereign is going to be the Abaddon on the off lane. Frozen's Vengeful Spirit's going to be in play. Got Slayer on the Dragonite, and BSJ going to be on the Terrorblade. Got that red face helmet thing going on. Straight out of that one Thor movie. Annihilator armor or something like that. But yeah, Lundan is scouting pretty deep right now. He can get eyes on the Alchemist stacks. Not going to be built up from level 1, but he can get eyes on that and make sure that the team is there to contest, or at least pressure while the Alchemist is off doing it. Will be a big win for the Bounty Hunter. Also, if he doesn't die right now, that'll be great, but he has done his due diligence, has seen there is actually no detection here for the bounty at all. Really, Lumdun's going to try to grab it. He gets a lot of right clicks into him, though. He does grab the bounty rune. Freedom, where are your sentries? Because, you know, I hear that sentries are pretty good up against Bounty Hunter. I'm not sure. I think it's okay to have a sentry in the mid lane for your Alchemist. The Alchemist, not getting that bounty rune actually hurts quite a bit. This lane for him is going to be extremely passive and extremely even. Without that extra gold, it's obviously going to be a slower battle, and also he's going to have to deal with this Bounty Hunter with no detection. This is not going to be a fun time for this Alchemist in this lane. If he had his bounty rune, it'd be much better, but still not the best. But now in this situation, there's very little that he could actually do until he gets to, and even then, just breathe fire harassment is going to be very annoying for the Alchemist. Poking in with the bounty is also very annoying. Sovereign's dead though on the bottom lane. And I'm going to say I caught that glimpse back into beatdown. Level 1 Aphotic Shield. Not quite good enough to save him there. And this safe lane for Freedom is going to strike first. Going to be getting those boots. Super important to start getting those open wounds off. Melee range, level 1. Pretty much melee range. Another glimpse not going to come for a very long time. So Sovereign's going to find a little bit of time to farm here. The roll-in is going to be there. He will only have to worry about the open wounds. That's why he's not casting his shield right now. He'll pass his shield, then his wounds are going to get opened up, then the beatdown is going to commence. A little bit of damage to Eagle, but not enough. Abaddon down. This is the weakness of the hero in the off lane. If you have a decent time, it is an amazing situation for the hero. But it's very easy to have a bad time, because you're 100% reliant on a Aphotic Shield to get you out of those engagements. That is by no means reliable. Mike up towards top lane, messing with the stack just a little bit. We'll sprint out of there. We'll be just fine. Now 2 deaths for Sovereign's Abaddon, and he will probably have to go into the jungle a little bit. He can do it pretty decently. Mike, he's standing still waiting for this rune. He's not even going to get it. He's going to get dropped by the Breathe Fire. No, he actually does get the rune. So I guess denied that Slayer, but gave his life away. They lose the Earth Spirit to the neutrals in the meantime as well. So it's a free kill here for the EnemyGG squad. Mike did his play to make sure the Dragon Knight's lane is a little bit weaker, and I guess the Alchemist gets his bottle and his rune as well, but now he's going to get jumped by Bounty Hunter Slayer. Does not have any mana, although he will have it in just 5 mana. That will get the kill at this point. He's going to try to bottle up, body blocking as well with the illusions. Boulder Smash will come in and secure the Alchemist escape, though I think he was fine just by himself. EnemyGG, their offlane is essentially dead. No longer go there. BSJ up towards top lane. Having a free time farming here, there's nothing that Slaughter can do to really worry him, but Slaughter is at least getting a little bit more than the Abaddon. Vengeful Spirit and Terrorblade is fine, but not going to be a super dangerous kill lane versus the Slaughter until Bounty Hunter gets a slightly higher level, like level 3 or 4, and then the lane gets a lot more dangerous. Abaddon's going to be off the table for quite a long time. Bounty Hunter can still stick around in this bottom lane pretty reliably, I think, and start to play that very old off-lane Bounty Hunter role, where you just like hide in the trees like right here, and then hopefully Sinbi keeps the wave right here, and you're like, yay, I get all this experience for free. Looks like that might actually happen. I mean, it's maybe slightly better to have pressure towards the enemy Alchemist or whatever, but with Slayer not having a lot of mana right now, it's probably very little upside for Lumdun to actually be doing that. Thinking experience is probably just a little better. Freedom don't have any idea that this is happening. They finally got some sentry wards up. A sentry ward up to protect this Alchemist. Yeah, the Bounty Hunter is going to be pretty darn happy as long as the creep wave momentum is sustained right here from Sunbi. It's like for the most part it will be. Still an experience range there, it should be. Got a passive early game start. No real aggression is going to come until level 6, 7, 8 comes up on Slayer. Those ultimates mark push time for the EnemyGG squad. If they can get track by that time, they'll be really happy. They will for sure have a really big Terrorblade, just because that's how he rolls. Metamorphosis is going to be maxed out at that time. The bottom lane soon be going to cut the creep wave. Abaddon's going to arrive level 3 on the Bounty Hunter as well. Cannot easily kill level 5 Lifestealer, that's for sure. especially if Lifestealer has backup, which he does in spades. There's going to be experience traded back and forth, as Lifestealer is going to farm pretty darn happily under this tower. And the more plays like this that Freedom can make, where they're just forcing moves from EnemyGG, not losing any heroes, and going for kills themselves, much better for them. Sovereign's going to get his wounds opened up one more time. Boulder Smash going to slow down Lunda, but the Eagle's taking a lot of damage. Sure can also get the kill on the Earth Spirit. The Sunbi just not able to do enough damage this time without the body blocks to that Abaddon. Iron Talent, Stout Shield, that is quite a bit of just raw health being given to the Abaddon through his items. Not to mention the fact that Aphotic Shield at this point is level 2, so you get a little more value out of that, obviously. And that is the play that Team Freedom wanted to avoid. Now, it's fine if they just don't go in for that fight, if they keep, like, hitting enemies right there, keep harassing in this area, but the ultimate goal of taking this tower, that's perfectly reasonable, because that means that EnemyGG will be that much more hard-pressed to find farm on these heroes. Of course, you get that extra gold, and you're a little bit more fight-ready once this push comes. But instead, giving a little bit away, see the Abaddon and the Bounty Hunter is going to be pretty costly. Bounty Hunter especially, level 4. Pretty high level at this stage in the game. Fleet's going to get jumped over towards mid lane. Breedfire's only level 2, however. Now the roll in from Eagle's going to save the Alchemist. Actually, Acid, I think it's not going to be enough. It's going to be close, though. Ugh, he's going to get out of there. Eagle may have saved the Dragonite, may have saved the Alchemist, rather, from one last Dragonite right-click. So we could see DK grabs level 6 with a sick Dragon cosmetic. Is going to start pushing this wave. Unfortunately, hasn't actually hit the tower yet. But I'm sure he'll get a couple right clicks in there, or maybe not. But yeah, these shape-shifting ultimates, I'm going to call this an ultimate because it's pretty much better than Sunder. For the EnemyGG squad, these are what marks their aggression right now. And they just need the payoff hero of Bounty Hunter to be there, and the sustain hero of a decently leveled Abaddon, which at this point, he is decently leveled. Level 5 is very good, actually. Considering how he started out, dying twice. Not going to be this dragon form where they're going to find a lot of bounty. It's going to be the next one. Just 50 seconds to wait, not that bad. And bounty, or Dragonite rather, actually going to go for Helm of Iron Will, which, you know, most of the time on these type of tanky mid heroes, Helm of Dominator maybe, but Armlet actually is reasonable here if they're really looking to hit this time and push hard. And an Armlet and Dragonite is just not going to die. Helm of Dominator might be a little bit too passive for what EnemyGG's game plans are. Even though the Alchemist hasn't really been farming a ton, you don't really want to run the risk of giving Alchemist free space, because why would you bother? So yeah, get the Armlet, try to go a little more aggressive, kill these towers off. I like the build-up. It's going to be Freedom to grab the first tower. This bottom lane essentially, again, pretty much dead as far as Abaddon trying to contest it. Field them out, just make sure there's no deny shenanigans, and Sunbi is going to secure the tower with his squad. They didn't even keep on this bottom lane, just keep pushing it. Of course, carry TP scrolls, but Lifestealer doesn't really have that much to worry about. Probably going for an Armlet himself. Armlet everywhere. Slaughter actually going to go ahead and grab a Vit booster, which is pretty darn interesting to say the least. Crimson Guard, maybe? Gotta be fight ready. I don't think that the newest change to Abyssal Blade made it so that you could buy it on Slaughter. I'm pretty sure that's still disabled. Kind of sucks, but yeah, Vanguard just trying to tank up. We'll need that health right about now because he is in a bad spot. Dragon Tail is going to come with a double damage on Dragon Knight. Oh yeah, that's a dead fish. Super easy kill. The rest of this level 1 Dragon Form Acid, plus the Metamorphosis from Terrorblade Tower, it's going to be fortified, but it's not going to be saved. And the Metamorphosis was just popped as well, so it is going to be probably enough to go for a tier 2 if they really want to. Thinking about it, they have a double damage rune on DK, man. You might as well go for it. He has his Armlet coming as well. Oh, you bet he does. This is a dangerous push, and this is what I was talking about for Team Freedom. Once these ultimates come out, how are they supposed to buy space? There is no space to be bought. Disruptor may have a glimpse here. Case scenario, they glimpse back Slayer. It's not in range, I don't think. Ix Mike's going to charge in, but he's not quite fast enough to make any sort of decent play. He's going to get Magic Missile in the face, imp up a couple arrows here and there. Pretty sure EnemyGG don't care really about that. They already took their tower, and now they're going to have a little bit of time to wait before their next play. Clock, though, is just a minute of downtime where Dragonite does not have his ultimate. A little bit longer on the Terrorblade, a minute and a quarter on him. You could get something like a Yasha or a build up to a Diffusal Blade. Just get that efficient damage, or drums even, just efficient damage going in towards those towers. You know, this is gonna maybe sound a little bit weird, and I'm not sure if it's actually good, but this actually seems reasonable in this game. Like, you're just looking for early game aggression, right? If you're EnemyGG, stats of 15 agility, 15 strength is bonkers. Plus, you get some attack range situationally. I actually think that's a really good item in this game for Terrorblade. I kind of hope he goes for it, so I'm justified in that. But yeah, the value of Dragonlance just for stats is actually pretty insane nowadays. So be sure to consider that one, guys, in these type of games. Now, Freedom can keep making even tower trades. They're going to be very happy. It will do just that. So far, 2 towers down a piece. Armlet on the Lifestealer, Slardar closing in towards that Vanguard. This is going to deviate away from it. I don't see that happening. It's EnemyGG. They have the track on the Bounty Hunter. They have Metamorphosis, though they probably don't need to use it for this tier 1. They can save it and push in towards the tier 2, and if Freedom's still on teleporting back, oh, if they lose their Alchemist, there's going to be no fight here. It's going to be a massacre. Alchemist is down just 3 shots from BSJ. Nana slammed that Alchemist. And okay, well, that will prompt the usage of Metamorphosis, which is going to cut into maybe high ground damage from the EnemyGG squad, but still, it's a very easy kill on an Alchemist. You're not going to be upset about that. You can keep going as well. They're actually going to respect and fall back. A little bit defensive for my taste. Sunbi's going to get into a fight with Slayer, and no one's really going to be winning that one. The EnemyGG, they have track. They just use Metamorphosis. I'm going to put them on the clock one more time. I figured tower trading isn't really what they want to be doing, though. I do think with the Dragon Knight, with everyone there, Dragon Knight and the Metamorph Terrorblade could have pretty easily taken down that tier 2, or at least put a lot of damage into it. A lot more damage than a Lifestealer would have done to their own tier 2 up towards top. But again, the clock is always going to be ticking. It's about a minute worth of downtime for Freedom every time. The Alchemist, gonna say screw the Armlet, just gonna go straight Radiance. Old school Alchemist stuff right now. He needs that item just for the evasion, or I guess pseudo evasion. Obviously didn't help him on the bottom lane, but any sort of survivability you get with this Vanguard, with the Radiance, would be pretty big. They could somehow get EnemyGG off their back, and we'll have a little bit of extra time to farm, and wow, what rate they farm with this Alchemist is going to be insane. Oh, Flea's going to try teleport out, Shuriken's going to cancel it, Slayer's going to walk in with the Dragon Tail, has the arm of the beatdown. Flea's taking so much damage here, and he will just get chopped down by the DK Bounty Hunter combo. Easy kill up towards top, but over in the bottom lane, stun onto 2. Frozen's going to get chain stunned as well. Silence, he's going to be left for dead by the Terrorblade. Magic Missile going to secure the Terrorblade's escape as the Earth Spirit does kill off the Venge. For one trade, but that is not a good trade for Freedom to making. This is the downtime for the EnemyGG squad. If they're getting kills in their downtime, I mean, that's just amazing for them. Might be looking at another one right now. Sunbi's going to get tracked. Does have Infest, so he can just piece out of there, but Slayer's going to walk around the corner looking for a target. There are no targets in the area, however. Dragon Form used rather early. Although it is going to be Arcane Rune, so there is almost immediately going to be another one. That's actually pretty sick. Arcane Rune into Dragon Form. Maybe a level 11 Dragon Form as well. That's pretty awesome, actually. Tower is definitely going to be dropped. Their stall tactics are pretty much limited to Acid Spray, and Alchemist is not really going to be super happy about being here, honestly. If he gets into a bad spot, he's very easy to take down. Cracks are going to be throwing out Acid Spray on the deck. Glimpse is a threat, but there is a Vengeful Spirit to back them up, whoever does get Glimpse back. And there's not a ton of mana on the Terrorblade. If he had a full tank, you would bet they would go for that backup of Sunder, but he's not going to fall back, and he's actually not going to go for sort of cutesy items. Just going to go for very standard Yasha build-up as the TD. I think Dragonlance would have been sick here. Smoke going to break. Back onto the Terrorblade. Does not have mana for Sunder, and can't cast it either, but he's going to get swapped out by Frozen. Give his life, that BSJ may live. Maybe. There's another Crush here, though, and okay, well, BSJ's still alive after that lag, and he's actually going to get quite a distance away. Sava's now going to arrive, give him a shield. BSJ's going to turn around. Sunder Sunbi with the Dragon Tail there as well. He'll tear down the life, so their stun from Ix Mike is good, but it's not going to be enough to kill off BSJ since he got a pretty much full heal from Sovereign and that Sunder chasing after Ix Mike now. BSJ getting slowed down by the boulder, but there's a Dragon Tail here, and Slaughter's not quite fast enough to escape this, nor does he have mana for a Crush. He did get mana for a crush, but he was dead by the time he was able to use it. Sunder from BSJ, Sovereign finally arriving with just a little bit of assistance. It's going to be yet another loss here for Team Freedom as EnemyGG, they are starting to really step up the pressure here. Dragon Form now level 2. That acid effect on those towers, except this time you get full splash, so rip creep waves. Alchemist is farming in the background. Radiance is complete. So he's at 7k net worth 15 minutes in. Expect that to absolutely skyrocket. But EnemyGG have been pretty readily pushing and prodding in these lanes. They actually need to take down these towers though. Oh, Lumden is going to get jumped over in mid. Comes back now. Boulder Smash is going to be lined up, and that's going to be a dead Bounty Hunter. Alchemist getting a pretty big kill there. But IX Mike might be a casualty on the bottom lane. In the meantime, Dragon Tail is not going to land. Crush right in range. However, Reflection going to slow him down. Frozen's going to get his wounds opened up in the top side, so he cannot swap him back. And in fact, he's going to go down to the Life Stealer solo. Yes, he will. One more shot will do it. EnemyGG may have overstayed their welcome. IX Mike going to charge in with the Vanguard. He is rather fearless. Although I'm not sure if he's quite fast enough for this. Product Shield going to constantly get rid of that Amplify, but Sovereign does get glimpsed back as his ultimate, so he's not going to die immediately. However, the stack storm is great for zoning. Sovereign's all alone right now. Baden going to get a decent amount of heal from that ultimate. It'll allow Freedom to disengage. Freedom actually pick up a couple of big items here. Saber on the Lifestealer does so much damage, even with the high armor state. The amount of damage you can do with that in armlet is pretty ridiculous. Blink Dagger up on the Alchemist, which I would be a little bit more of a fan of if his skill build was slightly different. You really want in Simple Concoction with that Blink Dagger. The level 1 in Simple Concoction is not exactly something to write home about. The 7 though in Team Freedom, we could see in just a minute 30 have gotten 2,000 gold in this Alchemist. And these ultimates from the EnemyGG side have not resulted in quite enough fighting led into victories for them. This time they will go into Roche, and they should be able to clean it out pretty cleanly. Double life most likely for the Terrorblade. Team Freedom, this is just space for the Alchemist. EnemyGG are still farming pretty decently on the Terrorblade, on the Dragon Knight as well. And in another 74 seconds, they'll be able to make another play into the Tier 2s, but so far all the Tier 2s are still surviving. Which is quite concerning for the EnemyGG squad. IX Mike is going to get jumped, Shuriken. Does some damage there, but Vanguard Slaughter, yeah, you're not going to kill that very easily. With Eagle smashing your entire team, Sovereign's still chasing in with the phase boots. That's about it, though. So it's time to push in 50 seconds. It's time to push. Someone should probably deal with this up towards top lane. It's free farm. Although I guess they're just going to try to go for it just with the Dragon form. Kind of bold because the Terrorblade is pretty much useless right now. The style is great, but without Metamorph, he is a rather weak hero. This is a potential opening here for Team Freedom. Start throwing tracks and amplify damage, try to get the vision up. Sunbi, thinking about coming in from the side, will decide against it. His tower will fall for free. So a risk taken by the EnemyGG side, not punished. And now, with that time being elapsed, about time to go for another push. In, you know, a Dragon Knight's worth of cooldown. Awkward once the cooldowns start layering poorly. Sunbi, he's going to get reflected, but Rage will get him to safety. But here we go. Tower now is going to be chipped down. And by chipped, I mean Terrorblade chipped. Terrorblade doesn't mess around. Still a little bit of residual Dragon form left on this DK. Going straight for AC, try to bust up that high ground. And Freedom, where's their Acid Spray? They need that tool. They're going to jump in with the Alchemist. Got a double damage room, but there's no real great targets here. BSJ's going to be focused down. He is going to get Thunder off. Plus, he has the Aegis. He's going to do a lot of damage to IX Mike with those two tools. The Slaughter is the first to fall. Plus, the Alchemist not able to do enough in the background. They will maybe take out the Bounty Hunter, and the Venge will also fall. But the Damage Dealer is still alive. Static Storm does drop onto Slayer and BSJ. They're not taking that much damage from it, though. Somebody can try to get into a fight with the Dragon Knight, but so much armor on this DK means he can just turn around and fight straight evenly. BSJ doing the damage in the meantime, still with that Aegis, still Metamorph. They will finally take down the Dragon. Now glimpse back onto the Terrorblade. He does have the Aegis, has backup here in Sovereign. He's going to put up a fight, trying to take down Sunbi. His damage isn't quite high enough because he gets stunned. And he will be forced to use that Aegis without killing off that Life Stealer. Sovereign's still here, still has a coil. SJ is going to walk out of there. Glimpse is going to bring him back one more time. We're not done yet. BSJ now going to duel Ix Mike. Ix Mike doesn't have damage, though. As soon as he's going to teleport right back in with her bolt smash through, BSJ is going to get that purged off and will evade the field. Backup, it is coming in here for EnemyGG. And it looks like Freedom, they have saved their base, taking down the Aegis of the enemy squad. As it stands right now, Terrorblade looking to be pretty darn fat, and Alchemist, even though he is getting a lot of farm, not really fight ready. Link Dagger Shadowblade Radiance is actually very nice for being able to fight, but it's not quite to the caliber that you need when you're dealing with a Terrorblade with Manta Style and a Dragon Knight who's pretty much already got Assault Cuirass. Very, very close to that item. Tier 2 and a Tier 3 down. That's just gold in the bank for EnemyGG. 20 seconds left until their metamorph. Back up for the Terrorblade. Dragon Knight is ready to go right now. Although Assault Cuirass may be worth waiting for. Debatably, to say the least. Let's see Freedom really struggling to take those fights in convincing fashion, although they will find Slayer up towards top lane. The Abaddon's there to provide a little bit more sustain. Now Slayer going to turn around with the armlet, start laying into this Alchemist, and he will fall. That is also here going to start throwing out those tracks. Boulder Smash is good. There's no follow-up to the two-man stun. And that will just be a Dragon Form popped rather early, which is kind of nice for Team Freedom. But we've already seen what damage EnemyGG can do with just one of these two transformation ultimates. Metamorph or Dragon Form. Obviously both better if you're really going to look for those Raxes. But Assault Cuirass with Metamorphosis, yeah, that's pretty disgusting. Roshan Timer might be something that EnemyGG also want to keep an eye on. Although for right now, it's not even close to spawning. Losing the Alchemist there really hurts for the Freedom squad. The rest of their team doesn't really farm that great. I guess Sunbi can clear out these Ancients pretty darn well with the Echo Saber. Watch his double hit value. Oh, baby. But they just don't have the right type of damage right now. Like, it's just all physical resistance here from the EnemyGG side. 26 armor on Terrorblade. Like, are you kidding me, man? He's even going to get a little bit more when the Abaddon's near him because he's got the Vlads. So, yeah. I mean, amplified damage is good. Minus 10 is kind of nice, but it's not nice enough, man. You need more than that. You need more damage. Acid Spray as well, so I guess it's a total of minus 17. These are the heroes that you want to have, and these are the items you want to have to be prepared for that. Wasn't going to get Glimpse back. Should be just a dead Vengeful Spear here. They'll get Boulder Smashed and, yeah, hit with the Concoction. She's a little bit too far forward by herself. Realizes there's an Observer Ward around here. EnemyGG will have another Dragon available right about now. Waiting for Roshan is kind of a slow play for EnemyGG. I'm not really sure if it's the right one. I mean, there's still a tier 2 tower to take on the top lane and bottom lane. And while you're just sitting around waiting for Roshan and farming, you're, yeah, getting gold, but the Alchemist is getting gold a lot faster. Pretty sure it'll still be in EnemyGG's best interest to keep applying that pressure towards these towers. Use your ultimates for it, why not? If you slow down the game, you are going to lose it to a late game Alchemist. Aghanim Scepter upgrades are pretty good. Nothing amazing. Get to see an Aghanim's Lifestealer. Oh, baby. I don't think I've actually seen that before. Lumden's going to get randomly dusted right now. Have a little backup, glimpse back into a field. Got the mech, but I'm not sure if he's going to get the time of day. Sovereign's going to jump in and save him with the shield. Gets caught in the static storm for his troubles, but Lumden is actually going to slip out of there with the mechanism. Isn't looking for a swap aggressively, perhaps? No. Be satisfied with saving their bounty hunter. Blink. Adden is legit. No, the Alchemist is going to get caught by the dragon, but going to go into his ulti form. Shadowblade is not available because he had to use the ultimate. Drop that invisibility. Dragon Knight doesn't have a blink dagger. Anything like that. They will have eyes on the Alchemist. He's going to still farm in the face of a Dragon Knight. Balls of steel to this guy. There's a Dragon form popped as Slayer does a lot of damage, clearly. The Alchemist is just tanky enough to escape that. Eye of Scotty, Assault Cuirass, still good enough to make a push off of, even with Dragon form kind of timing out. Lifestealer is going to do what he can as they're actually going to jump in towards the Earth Spirit. Shuriken will hit. BSJ has a reflection in range. Eagle is actually going to get to the kick out, so Sovereign's going to be fine. Blink it from Ix Mike. Stunning frozen, no follow-up though, so just a blank stun. Sovereign's on the front lines, will blink out of there. Sundee's going to take the front lines now as Ix Mike's going to take the focus from everyone. Slaughter, even with Vanguard, is going to fall, and the Lightstealer is going to die soon after. Stun from the Alchemist is really good, and the follow from Eagle is even better, but there's no damage afterwards. The Alchemist may be going towards the back lines. Sentries are not here for the Dire Squad. He's going to try to go for Frozen Magic Missile. Not going to be casting time, but the Raxes are falling in the meantime. 24 minutes in, BSJ's right-click damage with the Dragon Knight's aura from AC is ridiculous, and now he's going to get glimpsed right back. There's no damage being applied to him, though. He's going to just reflect up everybody, and now turn around and fight with the Thunder, kill the Alchemist, and now kill the Lifestealer. Alchemist is going to buy back, but this is the problem here for Freedom. They are all physical damage. They would trade their left kidney for a Lina right now, just to try to kill off this Terrorblade, someone with some magic damage. Those heroes are not in their draft, and it is going to be GG called. Freedom had to wait so long to play this game, and they didn't really get a long game out of it. 25 minutes in, their damage, non-existent. Speed, non-physical damage to deal with the DK and a Terrorblade, although I guess the Terrorblade did catch them by surprise. Freedom not really fight ready enough. Not enough space. That is EnemyGG's draft, working pretty much perfectly. Those ultimates up, level 7 Terrorblade, a level 6 through 11 Dragon Knight, tear down towers, rinse